when I tell lifters to go wider, because going wider really helps your stability in the bench press. If you have a wider base, okay, obviously with the plates out here, you're going to be able to control that weight more, because now you just opened up your tripod, so to speak. Hey guys, Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com, and today I want to talk about your foot positioning while you're bench pressing. We're going to cover both if you bench feet flat and if you bench with your toes positioned underneath you and your heel up. Alright, those are the two main styles of creating leg drive. But I'm going to tell you exactly where you want to place your feet. Now again, this is going to be very individual. What I like to tell lifters is I want you in a position, I don't care really where your feet end up, but I want you to be able to create the right hip tension, and I want you to be able to generate a lot of force in that direction. Okay, so really important that you get both of those things. All right, if for some reason you are putting yourself so wide here that you can't really push your knees out, we can't really generate sufficient glute tension. Sure, I'm locked into place, I'm very stable here because I forced myself here, but it's so much passive tension that I'm not able to really squeeze or drive out on my glutes. My glutes become pretty dormant. All right, we don't want that. We really want to bench from our hips. So again, if you want to bench here, if you want to bench here, as long as you can, again, the big thing you want to keep in mind, knees out. All right, we need to generate knees out. So right here, kind of hard, because you would really have to open up hard here, and it's hard to get that lateral tension on the hips. All right, but if I'm out here a little wider for my structure, this works really well for me because I'm in some passive tension with my hips, but if I drive out, I'm not so passively tight that I can't drive out. I can drive out into that tension right here and squeeze my glutes efficiently. All right, so again, it doesn't matter. It's really up to your structure, where you feel comfortable, where you put your feet. It's not a big deal, but some things that you're gonna wanna keep in mind when I tell lifters to go wider, because going wider really helps your stability in the bench press. If you have a wider base, okay, obviously with the plates out here, you're going to be able to control that weight more, because now you just opened up your tripod, so to speak. All right, but when I tell lifters to go wider, for some reason, if they're here with their legs, you can see on my foot is like a 90-degree angle here in my knee. All right, when I say wider, lifters think that they have to come back. All right, there's only so far your hips can go. All right, I can't open up much further than this. That's like doing the splits. All right, it's not about how wide we can get out here with our hips. All right, it's about just extending your knee out. So if you take a look at where my feet are here, what I mean when you go wider is just, you just have to do this. Extend your knee out a little bit, and now you just created a wider base. You opened up the angle of your knee. So all I did was knee extension out a bit, and I got to a wider position. It had nothing to do with opening my hips anymore. It's everything to do with just opening my knee a little bit more. All right, so that's all there is to it, guys, in terms of getting wider. You don't necessarily have to open up at your hips. There's only a certain amount of range that you're gonna have. Okay, the other thing that you want to keep in mind, instead of having your toes straight forward, because that can make it really difficult too to create that lateral tension on your hips by driving out, I'm going to want a little toe flare. It's kind of like when we squat, right? Usually we're not directly toes ahead. We're going to be opened up a little bit. So I like a good amount of toe flare because it's going to allow me to bench against the entire side of my foot, which is a lot more surface area to grip on than if I was just kind of pushing through the toes. Also, doing this, toes forward, it's more of a knee extension type pattern. Like I say, you don't get as much hip activation. If I'm out here, toes flared out, now I can drive open and I have the whole side of my foot to push against. So it's like you're doing a squat lying down. All right, now if we were to go into being toes back, all right, if I get into a toes back position here, all right, the important thing is that I don't want to be on my toes, so to speak. We say toes but we don't actually want to be on our toes. This is if I was on my toes. All right, it's really hard for me to create force from my toes. All right, I'm just kind of pinned into that spot. So it's hard to generate force if I'm really directly up on my toes. Where I want to be is on the balls of my feet. If I'm on the balls of my feet, I can powerfully throw my heels down to create leg drive. All right, if I am on my toes, I'm just kind of stuck back there. So it's like the same concept of having your feet too wide if you're flat-footed is the same thing as your toes too far back, being on your toes versus the balls of your feet. All right, so you can see here I got my toes crunched up on the balls of my feet, and boom, I can drive my heels down. So in terms of where to place your feet here with the toes back position, that's a huge thing you want to keep in mind. And then again, just play around with, do you like to be a little bit wider with that style? Do you like to be in a little closer? I generally recommend that your heels track behind your toes so that you don't end up looking like this, because you're not going to generate good force that way. All right, you can see that my toes flared out way too much and my heel's not tracking behind my foot at that point. Okay guys, so hopefully this has been a good lesson in where exactly to place your feet, because I know it's a common question that comes up. Where the hell do I actually put my feet? Okay, so guys, again, it's a lot just based on your structure. There's a lot of individuality in it. Oh man, we're choking, we're sinking, Elvis. But at the end of the day, find where you're gonna create the most force. All right, Coach Ben here. And you know where to find me. You can meet me on a bench. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel over here. Check out the links in the description box below. You can see a video related on this topic right here, and then our latest video right there. Thanks for watching.